We've all grown together throughout our journey. We're not just a football team. We're a family. In the gym, on the field, and outside of football. We're a family. We're going to fight till we can't breathe comes. Run until we can't stand or lose. Push until our muscles see these full range. Still do. Play our damn hearts out as a family. We're going to fight till we can't breathe. Run until we can't stand. The Westerly Bulldogs are taking that trophy series. We're going to play our damn hearts out. And no team facing this play themselves. The Westerly Bulldogs are taking that trophy back. No team on the face of this planet
to
will stop
awaken
us.
an entire nation.
I'll be a dog till I die. Between the hedges looking fly. 90,000 in the stands. I'ma do the dance, make it look fine. Coach put me in the game. UGA, yeah, the name. Yeah, the offense gon' turn up, but the defense gon' win us the game. Ball like a Georgia Bulldog. Dog niggas going crazy. Turn it up in between the hedges like Coach do in the 80s. Coach smart about the lead way. 90,000 in the stands. Another 1,000 at the dog walk. We be the best of the fans. We can't forget about the band. Dripping sauce in the red coat. We be the best of the land. Yeah, we be the best of the land. 7 turn it not 30 seconds on the time clock. They thinking about throwing the ball to DBs. Yeah, they got it on lock. I'll be a dog till I die. Between the hedges looking fly. 90,000 in the stands. I'ma do my dance, make it look fine. Coach put me in the. It's been so long.
Yo, week 2 was hype, I gotta say, man. What's up, everybody? Hit somebody, you already know.
Really ready to eat. Game day every day in the week. It's time to hit somebody. UGA ain't playing around. These dogs fighting and they laying it down. It's time to hit somebody. Teams hungry and they ready to eat. Game day every day in the week. It's time to hit somebody. UGA ain't playing around. These dogs fighting and they laying it down. And the dog G's in the 3-point stand. These other teams look shook, snatching D-boy chances. Every snap, but I'm all 50 dogs attack. If you try one of them, you better hold on track. Spain elevating, ready, setting for first take. They ain't taking nothing less just in first place. Settle up, let's turn face and just reach for the champion trophy and then it's time to hit somebody. Teams hungry and they ready to eat. Game day every day in the week. It's time to hit somebody. UGA ain't playing around. These dogs fighting and they laying it down. It's time to hit somebody. Teams hungry and they ready to eat. Game day every day in the week. It's time to hit somebody. UGA ain't playing around. These dogs fighting and they laying it down. UGA is the team, they're family indeed. They cut from thoroughbreds, they're champion breed. Quarter, the other team's feeling the beat. Ain't no time to get tired, gotta dig in deep. All the lifestyles of practice, the dribs and the rain time, the highs and the lows and the good and the fade time. This is what you work for, your moment in fade time. Everybody on your feet, right now, this is your it's time to hit somebody. Teams hungry and they ready to eat. Game day every day in the week. It's time to hit somebody. UGA ain't playing around, these dogs fighting and they laying it down. It's time to hit somebody. Teams hungry and they ready to eat. Game day every day in the week. It's time to hit somebody. UGA ain't playing around, these dogs fighting and they laying it down. It's time to hit somebody. Go down.
Play our
Hit somebody. Go down. Hit somebody. Go down. Hit somebody. Go down.
Ah, shit. What's up, everybody, man? What's cracking? What's going on, man? We're gonna have I think Emerson's gonna join us in a few minutes. I figured we start off with him because I wanted to talk about the freshman class we have this season. I think the freshman class this season is going to be insane. Man, there's a protest going on in Cumberland right now. Cumberland Junior Clippers protest going on up there. There it is, a bunch of people with picket signs. What y'all think about that? What do you think about the Johnston and Rogers game this weekend? Johnston I didn't see the game yet. I didn't have a chance. I actually have it up on the screen in let's see, hold on. I did have it up on one of these screens. Let's see if we can get you over to it. But that was also, here we go. I heard that was a very interesting game. Also, I didn't see it yet, but I definitely have my NFHS subscription, so I'm definitely going to check that game out as well. West Warwick, PONAGANSET, I want to talk about that. Also, I have my opinion on that game, but I'll probably save that for later, man. You know, we'll talk about that games first. Westerly Bulldogs, Portsmouth. What a game that was. You know, coming into the season, you know, what did we think about Portsmouth? I mean, Portsmouth always been a tough team, you know, so we really wasn't sure how that was going to go. But we knew Westerly Bulldogs wanted their revenge coming into that game for, you know, things that happened last season. You know, Westerly went down to Portsmouth and didn't really have it the way that they wanted it. So, and I think that a lot of us learned Westerly had.
Move that! Move that, Bryce!
Number 2 out of Bohemian.
Which people kept confusing him with Michael Barton, who originally started off the season with that jersey. But Jack Sperenza, man, a freshman, number 56. I mean, this kid looked unbelievable.
36-0. Here's another handoff to 36. Runs it across the 35, down to the 30.
Wow.
Down.
What a run.
He's a load. Where's that guy been all game?
Exactly.
Down to the 20.
Even if they really didn't use this kid this kid was
Move that, Bryce!
he was definitely a bull coming out of youth football, and during that game at Portsmouth, I mean, number 56, Jack Sperenza really showed to be a brute player, and I think he's going to be big for this freshman class this year. So definitely keep an eye out for number 56, Jack Sperenza this year on the Westerly Bulldogs. Wanted to talk about Jack Sperenza a little bit, what we've seen out of him, you know, out of the second game versus Portsmouth, you know, damn, this friggin' mouse sucks, guys. My guy, that's what's up. Yeah, we actually have a couple people coming on. We're gonna have Emerson come on. I don't actually see him in the background. Let me send him a new. I wonder why. Let me send him this invite. Because for some reason, I don't see him here. Hold on, people. I'm just trying to. I'm just trying to get Emerson connected. Damn, this shit's acting crazy. And then the other Thursday night game was Coventry, Coventry's another team which is playing real good football. You know, real good football with Anthony Alejandro over there in Coventry. You know, so we'll definitely get to that. Jimmy Cook on his side, you know, and I heard they have actually they have a pretty big coaching staff over there at Coventry High School. You know, but Coventry starts off on a good note. You know, they have a nice young quarterback in Jones. This computer is running like that. They have a nice quarterback in the kid Jones. You know, so we'll definitely see when Coventry actually, you know, a tougher part of their schedule is definitely going to be coming. You know, but a couple people seen Coventry working, seen what they bring to the table, and they said Coventry looks okay, you know. But we'll definitely see that. And one thing I pointed out, a lot of people seen it on my post where there was a piece in the Providence Journal where they said, you know, we don't only want to win, we want to dominate, we want to kill everybody that comes in contact with us. And I was like, whoa, you know. So, you know, me being me, I got to post that. But one thing I do want to say, a disclaimer, when I reached out to the coach staff, not Anthony Alejandro, because I don't know, he won't even get back to me. I don't know. I think he's kind of like, he's a little afraid, but you know, it's kind of like when you go to the doctors for the first time, you know, you got to get that needle. I don't know. But I reached out to Coach Cook and he definitely was like, yo, that definitely wasn't our coaching staff. And I said, I understand that. I said, I actually seen that it was a player, but I just thought it was good, you know, locker room blotter, you know. But we got Emerson in the green room. As soon as he's situated, we're gonna bring him up here. Up on the screen, we got some of the Johnston Rogers game going on, and I love when these people, at least Rogers and Johnson, they got their score. They're showing the score of the actual game, man, because it sucks when I watch a game like the West Warwick Ponagansett game, among the many other things that I noticed that was pretty shitty in that game. You know, shout out to West Warwick for getting the win, but we'll get into that a little bit later. You know, there was no score on NFHS, and what's worse than watching a damn game with no score? You don't know how it's going to go. But as we see Emerson's picture pop up, we'll bring him up. That'll let us know that he is ready. Who was at the Coventry game the other day that actually seen the T-shirts that were going around? I'm actually gonna pull up a picture right now that said "Remove Lima," and I was like, "Whoa!" And then I seen, I didn't see it, but someone said Lima's wife ended up coming up to another lady that she thought was the guy's wife wearing the "Remove Lima" shirt, and started yelling at this lady, and it wasn't even his wife; it was someone else's wife. But yeah, we got Emerson coming up, so we're gonna talk to him, and then we can come right back and definitely get into that. I think I just gotta hang on, I gotta do a little, you know, my I let my assistant go to this year, Eric, so he used to handle all this stuff. But what's up, Emerson? How we doing?
Good, Mike. How are you?
Oh, not bad, man. Welcome back, man. Another season. I mean, Emerson Kilgore, 401 Strength and Fitness, joins us. What's up, buddy?
How you been, Mike? How you been?
I've been doing what I do, enjoying, got the first 2 weeks of football, and we definitely keep it interesting. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And been a lot of, some good football. Some teams I didn't expect things to happen, and other teams, we expected. But how is Emerson's also one of our great officials, with the league. So, he's the guy in strategy out there. This guy don't like holding, so don't even play with him. See him in your wheelhouse, right? He don't play with that holding stuff.
Sure don't.
What's up, Emerson? How we doing?
I'm doing okay, man. I'm doing okay. I'm glad to see, football season is rolling here, and just excited to be a part of it, of course. And been a lot of great action here over the past little bit, and obviously I've officiated 2 games already, and it's things are slowly starting to develop. I know obviously it's only week 3 here, but the cream is slowly starting to rise to the top, and guys that put in work during the off season, and coaches that have been planning all year. I mean, it's really starting to show.
Absolutely. There's been some good games, and I know I think I seen you at a game that was not Hope, so shout out to Hope High School, but we were starting to get used to seeing you officiating the Hope High School game, but you was officiating what game this week? Charahoe, right?
Yeah, I did the Tolman Charahoe game, and then the week before I did the Coventry Mount Hope game.
Shout out to Tolman, man. Tolman has been a tough, they've been a team that maintained and was able to make it to the playoffs like the last 5 years. So shout out to Coach DeLawrence and his staff. Yeah,
Coach JD has done a really good job there at Tolman. I mean, all those kids there are very respectable. No issues with them whatsoever. They approach you, Mr. Referee, just come up and just, really just outstanding young men. And honestly, that's what I've known about JD for years. I mean, I remember when he first got started, and he was in Division I, and he was in rough shape then. But when he dropped the vision, he started building, and he has his vision. And of course, they're going to have their ups and downs. But I mean, there's always been a solid program. He's always been an outstanding coach to work with. Him and his coaching staff there, they're really great. And I know that years ago I was working with them in Pawtucket when I was at the YMCA. And he was building that culture back then, and is definitely showing now. So much respect to him for what he's doing out there in Pawtucket. And they had a great win against Charahoe. It was 40-0, and all the kids were humble about it. There wasn't any mouthing off or anything else. They just put their hand in the ground and went to work.
Yeah, they've been doing some extraordinary things for what they have, because we know all our inner city school teams, they don't really get as much love as they should get. So shout out to him and all his staff for keeping the kids coming.
Yeah, no, they're doing a fabulous job out there. This keep rolling.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So what was your overall thought of the Charahoe Tolman game on both sides of the ball?
Honestly, I mean, Tolman really just dominated the entire game. I mean, Charahoe had some spurts here and there, but overall, Tolman, literally the first drive, they were just moving the ball and moving it efficiently. That has to do with coaching and them kids really buying into their program and executing. So, they really look good. They had a couple of mistakes here and there, but again, that's how football works. But I know JD and that coaching staff will fix those mistakes and they'll roll on the next week. But overall, they did really, really well. The offensive line did good. I was watching them. There was, not so much holding with them, but it was just a good game. I mean, things just they're a bunch of workhorses, and that's what they did. And obviously, Charo didn't have an answer, but I mean, shout out to Charo too. I mean, I know what that coach is trying to do down there and building that program up and building the culture down there. He's definitely doing a good job, and it's unfortunate that it was such a big loss, but you got to rebound and move forward. And I think that's what Charo will do next week.
Oh, absolutely. And, I mean, every year you get such a change in players, change in kids, kids graduate, but yeah, it's not always going to be easy, but we'll go over some scores that are going on. Oh, we'll go over some scores in just a minute, but I want to send a big shout out to all your programs going on, 401 Strength and Fitness for their travel league football program that they did last season. Behind the pads, Coach Nadim, Club Charlie, Breakthrough. I even put the little Breakthrough hat on, because I wanted to talk about this. The freshman class we have this year, I think is, I got to commend guys for what you've been doing, and you being not really, a newcomer to the travel football scene, but you've been training kids for a couple of seasons. You have a couple of freshmen that are dominating this season as well.
Yes, I mean, I definitely, so the team that I have, it's sponsored by my gym, but it's called 401 Elite. We're in the NEYT league, so we do travel around New England and play. And we're definitely going to have, you're definitely going to be hearing some names from 401 Elite in next year. Honestly, the next year or two. I think the first one that comes to mind is Dimitri Johnson, who is a freshman at Hendricken. And I mean, he was just an absolute dominant force for me in 401 Elite, and now at Hendricken. I just saw his Instagram. I mean, he's deadlifting 500 pounds as a freshman, and I expect really good things from him. He comes from a great family. He's a really great kid, and I expect his name to be in the paper a lot these next couple of years.
Demetrius Johnson, definitely have to keep an arrow for that. When is he coming up to the high school level? Oh, well, he's at Hendricken, right?
He's a freshman at Hendricken. They have him right now, defensive end, and I believe running back. So he's a true defensive end. I know, obviously, with those schools, you got to play both ways, but ultimately, you're gonna be seeing a lot of him. Going forward. Actually, another one who actually made the starting roster was our quarterback, Onassis Soriano. So, special story about him. So, we had some issues at quarterback with 401 Elite, and we had asked him to become the quarterback, and he was a wide receiver. And I have to tell you, he gave us his absolute 110% best each week. He knew it was tough. But he went out there and just gave it his best, and I can't compliment that young man enough for what he did for my program and everything else. So I heard he was playing. He played he's at St. Ray's right now. He played during the East Providence game, and he was playing, I believe, safety, and I heard he did somewhat well. So, but again, as a freshman walking on to a program, coming into a program like St. Ray's and getting a starting nod, is something to be said. So, definitely proud of that young man, and we'll definitely have a lot of things. We'll be hearing his name too. One more actually. So he's now playing with North Providence, and his name is Dejan Lasser. So he's an offensive lineman. He's about 6'3" and probably about 295 pounds. I had the pleasure of working with him. Obviously, I'm an O-line, D-line guy. And, it was a pleasure watching him, change from that, the young kind of funny guy to the still funny guy, but much more, bound with his technique. So he really improved as an offensive lineman during the season of 401 Elite. He went from really not knowing the basics to really dominating the line. And that's all I could ask him to do. So, yes, he's definitely an up-and-coming young man, and, the future looks bright for all these young men. I mean, there's a lot I'm not mentioning here because we don't have that much time. But, there's a lot from, my group formerly, and honestly, even the rest of them. I mean, you look at, behind the pads and Club Charlie and what's going on with Breakthrough and things like that. Like, things on that end, during the off season of football is really starting to pick up, and that's why you can start seeing more and more of these athletes getting better. I mean, it is, not to toot my horn, but obviously with my program and other programs like it, it's really starting to show. And I'm definitely glad that, these young men have these opportunities to do this, because, this wasn't around when I was in high school, and I know it was years ago, but, you can definitely see the difference of, getting those extra reps in the off season and become a better football player. So, much respect to all those programs mentioned, and we can, we'll see how they progress over the years.
Absolutely. One thing I forgot to mention earlier, a little disclaimer, we call it the Cato rule. The views, informations, or opinions expressed on the podcast are the views of the individuals involved and don't really express, per se, so we ain't responsible for any hurt feelings. But my boss takes this stuff for real. So email, Can We Keep It Real podcast, so I just wanted to mention, a disclaimer, we call it the Cato rule, it's not for everybody, but anyway, yeah, congratulations to all the kids that you put forward. Nadeem's doing a great job. We talked about the wide receivers at Hendricken as well. I see Keith Croft been promoting a little bit about it. I seen the freshman over at Club Charlie Brown's Tashawn Brown, doing very well at St. Ray's his first week. Had a few hiccups last week. St. Ray's loses to East Providence 19-0. But they seem to go, from what I seen on the game film, they seem to go back and forth with East Providence. They just could not punch it in. Westerly has a couple other freshmen, Landon Husserl, that's just been tearing up the field up there at Westerly. Thank God they have turf. But yeah, he's been playing good football as a freshman. Jack Sperenzer has been playing great football as a freshman. So I think we have a great freshman class this season. And I don't think we have seen a freshman class as stocked as this.
Hey, I have to agree with that. I mean, there is a lot of talent in Rhode Island right now. That freshman class that's here now. I mean, they're really doing a good job, and we're just gonna we're gonna wait and see here. I mean, we just got to see what see what the future holds for these young men. But I really think they're gonna do well.
Oh, absolutely. I'm kind of pretty excited. I'm trying to get this picture up here, but if you went to the Cumberland game this week, you might have seen a shirt floating around that says "Replace LIMA." And the funny thing about this story is, I was saying before you got on, Emerson, that LIMA's wife ended up going up to some lady that she thought was the wife of the guy that had the shirt, and starts yelling at him. And the lady's like, "That's not my husband." And it's like, wow. Yeah, it's like kind of it was crazy. And but yeah, the shirt actually said that it had his record. It says LIMA needs to be removed. It was quite funny, but I know you don't get into the politics stuff. You have enough going on. That's right.
No, I don't. Only thing I hope for that. I mean, I obviously I'm knowing of what's going on up there. Obviously, I see it and hear it, and people every once in a while mention it to me. I don't get involved, but I just hope everything can work out for the best interest of the kids, and that's both at the high school level and at the youth level. There's a lot of animosity there right now, and that's just not good for the culture. So if I just hope that all these adults can figure this out for the best interests of the kids. Okay, it's just it's just that that's just not a good environment for kids to be in, and that's on both sides. So I hope they can figure it out, and I hope the kids will benefit from the adults figuring it out, and then things can get back to normal there.
Absolutely, because there's also a protest going on today up there at the Cumberland Junior Clippers field. About 8-year-old Colin. Let Colin play. So there's a lot of stuff going on in Cumberland. But Emerson, where can they find you during the week?
I'm still at my gym here. 401 Strength and Fitness is 400 War Ave, number 7 and 9. I'm still working with folks throughout this in season, and folks need to work on strength, conditioning, football, things like that. I'll definitely be able to help them out. I'm starting to work with other groups. I have a soccer program in there. I've had to have a roller derby program in there, which is great. But yeah, I'm getting the athletes in and just having them work and making them work to their best potential. So just trying to make it better here in Rhode Island here, all sports. So, but yes, 400 Warwick Ave, number 7 and 9.
And anything new that high school kids should know about the rules this year, or a message from the officials to the kids, to the coaches, after the first 2 weeks? Anything you wanna, just a message for anybody?
I mean, the rules have changed slightly. I think some of the bigger ones is obviously holding is from the if it's behind the line, it's from the previous spot. So so the holding calls, I mean, it's still a big hit. It's still a 10-yarder, but it's not from the spot, because sometimes, and I remember this from last year when I had a holding call. It was a busted play. The quarterback was scrambling in the backfield, and the offensive lineman literally grabbed the defensive lineman and threw him to the ground. So it was from that spot. So it was that spot and then 10 more from that. So they got rid of that. So now it's just from the previous spot there. So that's one. And then pass interference is from the previous spot. So it's 15 yards from the previous spot. So that's pretty much it there. But I think majority of rules have stayed the same there. It's just, people just got to go out and execute. I think that's going to be the number one thing moving forward. Is just kind of doing that. But I think the coaches for the most part know that, and they'll be playing again here next week. I'm looking forward to it, and we'll see how things go. But yeah, no, I'm definitely glad football's going up again here, and guys are looking good. I mean, it's definitely showing the guys who have done all the off-season training and and things like that. It's really showing. Like, you could really sort of pinpoint who's done what during the off season and that. So, I mean, that's just my big recommendation. All you guys that are, interested in making your game better, possibly moving on, you got to get it done during the off season. There really is no off season. It's just, getting prepared for the next season. It really does take that entire time. So, obviously doing all the sports is definitely recommended, but, definitely getting the workouts in and getting stronger and, working on your craft. But, a lot of guys are starting to do that now, and Rhode Island football as a whole continues to move forward. So definitely glad people are taking this more serious. But, still got a long way to go, but we're still doing good here.
Absolutely. And I did want to say, we got to give a shout out to the RAIL for developing the next generation of great sports officials. They're attempting to partner up with ref reps. They said without officials, there are no games. So we all need to do our part to attract, sustain, and grow the next generation of game officials. With that in mind, RIL is excited to work with ref reps to provide an online officiating class specific to NFHS playing rules that is interactive, engaging, and available to our member high schools. And I guess they're gonna put up the money for 5 students to participate in this program. So shout out to them for at least trying to get us more officials, because that's a show for another day. But we definitely need some more high school officials. And I've seen a couple people reach out to you with the interest the other day on a post that I made, about getting some officials.
Right, and for those, I'm going to be reaching out to them again. I know a lot of them are officiating youth today, so I won't be able to get back to them until later on. But I'll definitely I'm going to reach out to the name is Rich. I'm going to reach out to him today and see if what can be done here, because we definitely need them. And just a note too, like we need. I mean, you don't have to be that well versed in the world of football officiating, like the way our organization does it. I think they do a really solid job. The Rich and Brian Morissette, I believe, are still in charge of that, and I mean, I went through them. They're a great bunch of guys who really love the sport and know what they're doing and know how to teach it. So it is definitely about getting some reps and going out there, and you're going to make your mistakes. It's definitely going to happen, and it's fine. I know my first year, I definitely made a few, but you learn from them, but you're around experienced guys, and they should kind of show you the ropes, and that's what's been happening here. So, just get that out there a little bit. Like, you don't have to claim to know all the rules and things like that. We're going to show you how. We want to show you the mechanics, and you go out there and do your thing. So, if anyone's interested, please, they can contact me. I'll definitely get you in contact with the right people, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely, man. All right, shout out to Emerson. Definitely looking forward to see you on the field soon. All right, we'll talk to you soon.
All right, Mike. Thank you.
All right, there's a guy over there doing trying to keep it going. I mean, it is what it is. He can only do what he could do with officiating. I think the world of politics over there just makes it tough for stand-up people like Emerson. Some seen the Woonsocket SK game, some didn't. I tried to look for it on NFHS. Tough game for Woonsocket. I think in Division II we had to have. I know of teams that had combined 9 fumbles. I think there was 4 of them in this game right here. So that was definitely a tough. Any loss inside your division is gonna be a big time loss. Listen, in Cumberland right now, check it out. There's a protest going on in Cumberland at the Junior Clippers game, right? Where they have shirts about let Colin play. 8-year-old Colin is still banned. They said, call the mayor. And it's a shame because no 8-year-old child should be banned from a program. I don't care what your feelings are towards his dad. And what do you think about this? Look at that. Replace LIMA. Now, you read the shirt, you look it up. It's all facts. And a lot of people might have not have known these facts. And like I said, Lima's wife, she had to be so embarrassed. Goes up to the wrong lady, hollering at her. You know what I mean? And I guess there's going to be more shirts made that are probably going to pass them out to people. We definitely got our shirt on the way. It says 9 seasons, only 2 playoff wins. One of them came last season in Division 2. Dude, what is going on in Cumberland? And then when people heard about this, of course, in Cumberland, they was like, yo, that is so funny. And they actually started chanting, replace LIMA. Replace LIMA. I was like, no, they weren't. Losing record as a head coach, 41 wins, 45 losses. You can't even make this shit up, bro. 40, this guy, he's not even a 500 coach. 100 players on Cumberland Clippers, but there is no freshman team. There's not even a freshman team. And I thought the league said if you had enough players, then you ought to have a youth program. You ought to have a freshman team. But I guess LIMA don't apply to the boards with the principals up there at the RAIL. Clippers were demoted from Division 1 to Division 2. Last year we called it the Division 2 Protection Program. Everybody ran to Division 2. Nobody wanted to play Bishop Hendricken or LaSalle. That was a fact. Assistant coaches always quitting. In the last 10 years, Coach LIMA had 18 coaches run for the hills. 18 coaches. Dismissive of second-tier players. That's the fact. He tells players, say, if you have a Friday game, if I don't call you by midnight, then you're not worthy. Basically, you're not going to the game. I think he needs to take that shirt that says family and just rip it off him, because if that was your family, you wouldn't leave anybody behind. You attempted to leave 40 kids you wouldn't let them dress for the game knowing that you had enough uniforms for everybody. You tell kids, you don't even go to the youth programs. You got one JV coach, and you don't even go over there and see their progress. So how do you know, Josh Lima, as a coach, right, how they're progressing? When you got what, like a math teacher that's coaching the JV kids, one JV coach. So how do you know when these kids are progressing? And that's why I said, Lima said in the Valley Breeze, nobody respects Cumberland. It's not that they don't respect Cumberland, Joshua Lima. Nobody respects you. That's what they don't respect. You were supposed to step down off the board last season, but you only said that to get the heat off you because of the alignment. And then all of a sudden at the last minute, you stayed very well much on that board. True or false? Clippers youth program is a town embarrassment. I mean, they've been doing a good job at it. You know, protests going on, banning players, misappropriation of funds, allegedly. You know, all the coaches, they run away from the program. They get away from there. Cumberland Clippers got a new logo for their helmet, and they tell the youth program that you cannot use our logo. So I guess you don't have a youth program, a feeder program. You know, but yeah, this shirt is awesome. You know, I'm sure this shirt, yeah, they'll probably be passing them out this week. And they really can't even stop you from wearing the shirt. You know, it is your First Amendment right. But yeah, I wonder how that protest is going on down there at the youth program. I wonder if I should react to the Ponagantsa game on this one or by itself, because that one might be a little bit more. We're just gonna go over some scores, because I think I'm gonna reset this. I'm really gonna come back and react to that Ponagantsa game, because there's a few things that I noticed in that game that were really, really sticking out. You know, it's a different team than I've seen in the past. And I've been following Ponagantsa for a few years now, and I haven't seen a team that defeated in a long time. I mean, you got some kids on that program that are experienced football players. You know, there's a few comments over here. They actually should have a freshman team. Absolutely. Now it says here, Barrington, not sure. Barrington, EP, Central all have, they all have freshman teams. Look, Portsmouth has a freshman team, but Cumberland Clippers does not have a freshman team. He's dismissive of his lower players. For one, you're going to make these kids stay up to midnight on a school night to hope. Oh, I hope the coach calls me. Come on, these kids at that age are looking up to you. That's why I always said, this guy is not a coach. SK has a JV. I don't know about a freshman. So Lima, what is your excuse? Again, 9 seasons in the league. You only won 2 playoff games. Despicable. Embarrassing. Just as bad as Davy Boy. Losing record as a head coach. 41 wins, 45 losses. Not sure how up to date that is, but I know your record is below 500. Embarrassing. 100 players, but no freshman team. Embarrassing. How are you going to develop talent? They have over 100 players in their program, but yet no freshman team, no freshman team. So what? You're using the freshmen as punching bags. Is that what's going on? Oh, they're only good to be scout players, I guess. Because we hear the way that you talk to these kids. Lima, you and your administration told someone that has an IEP. You're lucky you're even playing. You have an IEP. What does an IEP have to do with anything? You knew very well what was going on with Skirker. I mean, these are just things that develop, right? And then people want, oh, why you have someone? I don't have no hate from Josh. And if I see him, maybe I pick him up and give him a ride, you know. But I just think as a coach, I just call it how it is. Even with Dave Cato, I wasn't even going to continue on Dave Cato until he tries to sue me, has me serve a cease and desist. Could there be a bigger coward, allegedly, than a guy like that? That's as bad as calling the police. He's picking on me. But as Dave Cato found out, as long as I'm being like, as long as it's legal, you can't stop me from what I'm talking about. You know, so we're just gonna call a spade a spade, you know. But we're gonna get to Dave Cato on the next podcast, because that one is gonna, there's a few things we're gonna say. Take this walk with me, Dave. There's a few things to say about that. You know, but some scores, East Providence beats St. Ray's. From what I understand, sorry about all the noise. There's construction going on. From what I understand about that game is that there was fumbles, you know, but they were saying that St. Ray's kind of stayed with East Providence, kept up with them. St. Ray's just could not punch that ball in. They just couldn't get it done. But it looked like St. Ray's was moving the ball, you know, had trouble getting touchdowns, you know, but you know, so it's early in the season. It's early in the season now, so we'll definitely, I'm sure St. Ray's will be there at the end of the year. You know, St. Ray's even fumbled going into the end zone. Oh, was that was the last season game? Okay, all right. But I know that between them and Socket, there was a lot of fumbles. I don't know how many other games there was fumbles in, but I'm sure St. Ray's, but I just never expected them to get shut out. But congratulations to Coach Stringfellow, the good one, and you know, his staff. You know, I'm sure they definitely celebrated that win, and I know St. Ray's will figure it out. You know, they have two quality quarterbacks over there, in Wolf and Brown. You know, two great quarterbacks. Burriville, Cranston, West. 2 fumbles, 2 interceptions in the Looney game. Okay, yes, I knew there was 4 turnovers, and when I text Coach B-Ball real quick, and you know, he said it is what it is. You know, 2 turnovers. You know, it's gonna be tough to win any game when you turn in the ball over 4 times. Did I say 2? When you turn in the ball over 4 times, but Coach B-Ball always gets them kids dialed in, always. And SK, you know, they just look like a big team. You know, I mean, I was looking at a picture with the line, and I was like, wow, they look much bigger than a lot of these kids. Much bigger. I wish I had some pictures uploaded, but I definitely have the pictures. But I'm sure when soccer will definitely get back on the horse, and when we do our picks this week, we'll definitely. I didn't have a show the other night because I basically fell asleep watching the game at my desk. I had to work at midnight. It was just crazy. Burriville, man. Burriville. I think I said early in the season, my man Jelinas and DeCharo, man. This is like part 2. Remember back in 2019, you had Jake Jelinas that was just carving up teams that Burriville would face. They actually won the Super Bowl that season. Well, now you have his younger brother, who's also playing good football. So, and you have the kid Keller up there at Burriville. Burriville is definitely going to be a team that you should probably be worried about. Burriville is at 35-20. I think both Cranston teams have a lot of work to do. The Cumberland East Greenwich game, the replaced LIMA game, we'll call it. Cumberland wins that 20-0. I mean, a week before, Pilgrim beats up on EG 6-0. But I think Pilgrim was dominating that game. It was a very, very tough game. But they are a lower division game, Pilgrim is a D3 program. EG just coming out of D1. You shouldn't have them kind of lopsided scores. Mount Pleasant, we have yet to see what Mount Pleasant can do in state, and I think it's smart because of this reason. First, I'll tell you, Mount Pleasant wins the game over Watertown. Shout out to Jay Addison. 42-14 in that game. Now Mount Pleasant has had no league game, so I think while Mount Pleasant is watching the whole league kind of beat up on each other, because we play by win percentage, Mount Pleasant comes into the league and they win one game, and they already have an equal amount of win percentage as Woonsocket does. I'm just saying Woonsocket. Whereas another team in their division, and they actually got there by playing less games. A couple of years ago, I think Barrington, let's just say they played 4 games. And let's say Westerly played 3, and Westerly has, better win percentage, and they have the tiebreaker, because Westerly played less games and they made it to, 100% faster than the other team, because it took the other team 4 games to make it to that percentage. Westerly would have the edge. So I think Mount Pleasant, you're watching all these in-state teams battle with each other, and then you come in, you have more out-of-state games, so when you could possibly have better win percentage that way. So, I think strategically it's smart. But as of right now, Mount Pleasant has put up 62 points on the season, and they only allowed 20 points. Give it up for Jay Addison for that. Let's see. Friday, September 8th, it said they beat 20-6. They played the Cranston East. So Mount Pleasant in this game, they played Watertown. They beat 42-14. And Mount Pleasant has coming up, they have Burriville, East Greenwich, they have East Providence, St. Ray's, Cranston West, and Cumberland. So that's a pretty, the Burriville, that's debatable. EG, Mount Pleasant will get the dub. EP, I think Mount Pleasant, so that's the other thing. Let's see what Mount Pleasant and EP do. I'm circling that game. We're definitely going to have to check that out. But I don't want to get away from the scores. So let me get back to where I was. Missed it. Let me see. Okay, we was on Friday's games, right? Oh. So yeah, so we haven't seen much about Mount Pleasant in-state, which we are definitely interested in. Jay Addison always has them dudes playing tough over there. Replace LIMA. I love that shirt. We're definitely gonna have one pretty soon. Okay, here we go. The 15th. I'm sorry. Okay, Burriville and Cranston West. Burriville just destroys, dog walks Cranston West 35-20. Cumberland beat EG 20-0. We're gonna move over to. Hey, where's Saturday's games? You screwed up Saturday's shit. We're gonna go over to the Saturday's games. Let me get this other game back up here for you. Let me get this picture down. This Johnson Rogers game is a game that I've been wanting to. I'm gonna put that on. Definitely gonna have this game on the big screen. I definitely had to get my NFHS updates. You know what I'm saying? But get your stats into Max Preps. Get your stats into Max Preps. If not, how are these kids going to get recognized? So Saturday, September 16th, games. There was 4 games for Rhode Island football on the 16th. 16th, all the mamas used to be waiting at the mailbox. Not anymore. We got EBT. Hope High School and EWG matched up there at the bottom of the barrel, for state rankings right now. EWG put 46 points up on Coach Quayway to 12. That was the final. Middletown and Classical, these dudes had a fight. The final in this game was 20-21. I hope this game is on NFHS because these are 2 programs I like to break down. I like to see what Middletown is going to do. And Classical always has a bull over there. Last year they said, "You can't catch me, bull." Now he's over at URI doing his thing. Middletown definitely has a decent quarterback. Central and Cranston East. Central beats Cranston East 44-8. Brown dog walks Narragansett 56-14. But yeah, we definitely gonna come back. I want to do the reaction to the West Warwick PONAGANSET football game. A lot of things we said about that situation. I don't know if you was up in Cumberland today. Protests at the Cumberland Junior Clippers game. Let's see. Wesley beats Portsmouth. Wesley moves to 2-0. Coach Ronnie was supposed to come on the other day. I got to reach out to him, see what happened. Reps involved in Rhode Island high school sports now. Shout out to Woonsocket football. Shout out to Blizzy Blake. You know what? Pilgrim got to have the tallest receivers in the game. And also a big shout out to Williamson's law office. Part of the Cato rule is the views, informations, or opinions expressed on Can We Keep It Real podcast are solely the views of the individual involved, and they don't represent the views of any third party. So anybody that get their panties in a bunch we really sorry and nothing that we really can be done about it. You know what I mean? But we'll definitely catch up with you people soon. I'm definitely have to come to block. I got to spin the block and break down the West Warwick Pono game. Because you already know.
That's the bad guy. Bad guy. Bad guy. That's the bad guy. The bad guy. The bad guy. Commission. The bad guy. The bad guy. The bad guy. Load up that queen.
They didn't sugarcoat us. They just said what it was.
It's time I pull the plug. The game is over. The game is over. It's time I pull the plug. The game is over. The game is over. It's time I pull the plug. The game is over. The game.
Not promote or promotion any illegal activities. All content provided by this channel is meant only for educational purpose only.
Let's go, come take a ride through my city life. See what my city's like. It's the city life. For some, it's a shitty life. This is city living. Mostly them city children. From my bedroom, see the lights of them city buildings. Ain't gotta act hard. Private's my backyard. I run road out. You can call me a track star. And we a team, homie. All is one. I don't sleep until all is done. I ain't ruckus, so please don't call me Mr. 401. It's Mr. Rags. You can call me. I'm still in that 401. From where we was, look at all we become. For what it's worth, I put my all in the sun. Know that my city love it. My city's budget about my city's public. Know how my city does it. Let me handle my city business. Then I ride you outside of them city limits.